Welcome back, boys and girls. This is episode 88, I think, of your Hump Day Podcast, 8-Bit Bourbon. I'm Andy. With me, Adam. We're sponsored today, by Red Balls.
Oh yeah.
Since Adam's still not drinking.
Saturday I can. If I choose to.
It's freaking me out.
It is, right? It's been a good 30 days.
This is, I think the new tagline of the podcast is where Adam puts all of his show notes on a piece of yellow paper instead of in the goddamn document.
No, those are things I don't want to forget.
Isn't that kind of the same thing?
No, well, it's hard. I got to keep an eye on the video so the video doesn't fuck up.
Yeah, I hear you. Maybe do both, or you want to surprise me? I do like getting surprised.
No, I just left my iPad in the other room.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know the date. It's August 10th. Recording on a Monday, which is great because I can go home and do nothing after that. Oh no, fuck! I have something to do.
You gotta do something.
Well, which brings me to our first topic, which is
Andy's quitting the show.
Yes, that is it. I'm retiring. If you listened last week, we told you that we were going to interview Blake Harris, the author of Console Wars. And I did on Sunday. And did a lot of technology for the first time, which was like I wanted to record the video and the audio on the Skype call. Didn't get to test it because I was hungover, basically, if you want the truth. And I went for it, and it came out, I think, okay. I still haven't totally tested it, but the internet went out in the middle of it, which could be a disaster.
That never fucking happens. And what are the odds of that?
Yeah, it was bad. Because I wasn't finished too. Like I needed an ending, so if he didn't stay for that extra couple minutes, I would have had to just wait till next time he was available.
I would have just pretended to be him.
Yeah,
would have interviewed me.
The problem is we had video.
Oh, I would have done my best Blake Harris look.
Yeah, but it was awesome. The guy was super cool. There's like a few highlights of that. I mean, one of the most interesting parts that's only gonna be interesting to me. But before we got on the podcast, I was just telling him how I was gonna do the interview and whatever, and we got into kind of like. He was asking me, where we're located, and, I said I lived in New York for 6 years, and he said, well, what'd you do there? I said, finance, and he said, where at? And, I've had this question asked to me, 6 million times, and, 2 out of them, I usually just say, well, it's an interdealer broker, people never heard of them, because interdealer brokers no one's heard of, or, obviously if you worked at Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan or something, the banks people have heard of. But he goes, oh, really? Because I used to work at FEMAT, which was one of our main competitors, and a ton of Dan's friends work at I know a ton of people that work at FEMAT. So it was really weird that as soon as he said that, I was like, well, we should probably talk about this on the podcast. But that was really interesting for multiple reasons, not only because I worked in that field, and specifically that field, but because he was able to work in finance and get out of it with a book, which was not only a book that sold, but a book that got picked up for a feature film and a documentary at the same time by Seth Rogen and his writing partner.
Are they doing the movie or the documentary?
They're doing both. I don't think they're in either, but they're producing both.
I was gonna say good.
Yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, they don't fit that at all. I mean, obviously the documentary they don't fit.
Yeah.
The feature film they could probably be in it in some way.
How does that work? Having a documentary and a feature film is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I really think it's just about where you release it more than anything else. I doubt the documentary will be released in movie theaters where the feature film will, but the documentary might be more of I don't know, an internet thing or a TV thing. But I think the documentary is going to be pulling old clips and interviews, whereas the feature film is going to be actors pretending that they're the people. So I think they are two very different things. It's pretty cool that they decided that both would be interesting, and I'm actually really excited for both because I think that's a really good, because the documentary actually excites me more only because the feature film's going to be the book in film form, whereas the documentary will be you get to actually see the people. But where was I going with that? This is I won't spoil too much about the interview, but my favorite part was this. As far as one spoiler to whet the appetite. So I told you he worked in finance. He didn't hate it as much as me. He worked in a market that allowed him to get out at 2:30 every day, which is really nice, or 3:30, whatever. I can't remember what he said. Deal. He was doing a foreign exchange on something. But on his 30th birthday, he had already a couple years. He met with Seth Rogen and his partner. They decided they wanted to do this stuff, but he wasn't making any money off of it because it wasn't done at this point, right? So he had to keep working and then doing the interviews and the writing and all that stuff at night. And on his 30th birthday, he quit his job, his girlfriend threw him a surprise 30th birthday party. So he quit his job for his dream, career, because he was kind of like into filmmaking, like script writing, stuff like that, but nothing ever took off until this. And he hates like being the center of attention, so he decided he was going to wait, but he decided to propose to his girlfriend at his surprise 30th birthday party to put the attention back on her. So the guy got engaged, quit finance for his dream job all the same day on his 30th birthday.
That's pretty sweet.
Is that unbelievable or what?
I don't even remember my 30th birthday, but I can tell you none of those things
I know,
happened.
that's what I said. I went to Vegas, kind of, but it it's really for Nick's birthday, but kind of mine. And he was like, "Oh, that sounds cool," and I was like, "No, it doesn't match up with that. Not even remotely close." Forget about the engagement. Just leaving finance for your dream job. It's unbelievable. So that was he was really cool. He was really fun. We got to bust his balls a little bit. He was just a nice guy and really interesting story. And came out of nowhere. Like, he's not like been a writer since he was 10. He never even knew he wanted to do that. But
It's pretty sweet. You got your first interview of a guy that's making a movie with Seth Rogen.
I know. And he said, I said to him, I told him, I wouldn't bullshit you about how I like the book, because there's another guy that I wanted to have on the podcast, but I ended up not liking one of his books. I don't want to say who it is because he's such a nice guy, but he joked. He's like, well, I hope you'll have me back when the documentary and the movie release. And I was like,
fuck yeah.
I was like, I might just pretend I like it at that point. No, but he was like the coolest guy and stuck around, and you could tell he's just a normal dude. And from New York, so let's talk a little bit about that. But we kind of covered everything. I could have literally done easily a 2-hour interview, but I wanted to keep it to an hour because I knew he had stuff to do at 2:00. We started at 1. So I can't wait till I find out that the whole thing's corrupt and I can't actually put this up after talking about this. But I think it should be fine. So watch for that. I'm just going to release it as not an episode. I'm just going to release it as like, I don't know how I'm going to label it yet, but probably like interview : console wars Blake J. Harris or something.
Does that mean we can take a week off from doing this?
No, I don't think so.
You just do it next week?
I mean, we could, but
or we could just scrap this.
Right, forever.
Go play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I really wish that, I've told you, I've always wanted to do an interview podcast, but to do it a completely separate podcast, first of all, it wouldn't make any sense because this is guys involved in video games.
Yeah.
Well, video game book, but also like to like start over with the iTunes new and noteworthy. That sounds so terrible, running 2 different web pages. So I figured I'll just insert it as like a separate thing, which should be cool.
Sounds good.
Because you wouldn't want to tack it onto an episode. That would just be stupid.
Look how far we've come. 88 episodes. Got a first movie star.
I know. It's one of the first we've ever attempted to because we're lazy as shit.
Yeah, hopefully the Long Dark guy gets back to us soon.
Yeah.
Send out another
I mean, he's busy. Send him another email.
That's what I told
him. He already said yes, so it's one of those things.
Yep.
It's what they teach you in sales.
So I got a lot of people playing the Long Dark.
Yeah.
Jay Arania's loving the Long Dark. Laurel's loving the Long Dark. I saw somebody else on my friends list that's playing it.
Nice.
It
looks cool.
It is cool.
I'm never going to get into it, but it looks very cool.
I had like a 5-hour stream of it on Saturday.
Very nice.
I'm up to day 36.
Nice. You got to get the camera in there, though.
Yeah, I know.
It makes it, and more importantly, the microphone.
But I didn't want. Well, I was using my headset. I did a Tomb Raider Twitch, and I was using a microphone for that. My headset. I'm not even sure if that worked, but I don't want to talk to people when I'm playing a Long Dark. I want to focus.
No, I hear you. But I think even like a little bit of chatter, you don't have to talk the whole time and like explain every little thing you're doing. But even if you could just respond to comments or just say, what do you guys think I should do here? Like that always helps.
Yeah, I had a couple hairy situations getting caught in weather. I came back through a storm and there was a bear in my front yard.
Mm-hmm. You can't get rid of that bear, can you?
No, I killed the one bear. I think they just cycle through every now and then. And this one, I was just kind of like giving like a warning shot because the last one took like 3 shots to take down. I must have drilled this thing just perfectly on top of the head and he's dropped.
That's nice.
It was awesome. Then the other one I shot, I ran inside and then I found his body like 100 yards away from the house the next day.
The one you shot him?
There was a different one. That's my 3rd bear I've killed.
Oh, okay.
They keep coming.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that game looks very cool.
Wolves are giving me a problem lately.
I like games too where like you have to really like make decisions that are serious. Like you really need to be careful. Like you can't just like if you just wing it and you die, you'll be so pissed.
Yeah.
So you have to.
I'm concerned because I'm running low on bullets. There's a way to make a bow and arrow. I have all the supplies to make the arrows, but I cannot find the right stick to make the bow.
Interesting.
and it's I don't know.
So if you don't have a weapon, are you basically fucked at this point?
I can try to like go after wolves, like fight them with my hands, stab them, then track them down, try to find their body. But
what would that do for you?
You can eat the wolf meat.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
but
I thought you meant you could make a weapon out of them somehow.
No, but it's risky because I can die from fighting them. I do have.
Yeah, I think you would normally die from fighting a wolf with your bare hands.
I have snares.
I mean, I would. Maybe I'm just not a man.
In my front and backyard, I have snares lined up to catch rabbits, but that's not enough like calories to keep you. To keep you alive long enough.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So if it comes down to it, I might have to pack up and leave leaving everything behind, and it just because there is a cave near me, and I kind of want to know where it goes, but there's a bear outside of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do.
Interesting. Yeah, that game's very cool.
It's really fun. I upload the archive on Twitch to our YouTube channel. So if you want to look at it, it's like 4 hours long. Just skip around, see cool things.
Oh, and speaking of videos, obviously that Console Wars video, when I merge it and all that shit, I'll put that up on YouTube as well, and we'll tweet it out. And all that stuff, so.
I remember when we used to archive or export our videos from Twitch over to our YouTube channel. These always seem fine. The last couple I've done have seemed so dark.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's Twitch's end or what. But
is it because you're twitching from the Xbox instead of the Elgato?
That's what I'm thinking.
Probably. It's probably just lower quality.
It looks like shit.
Yeah. They probably can't. I bet you, even though it twitches at 720p, I bet you it's not even.
No, actually, I did the one from the Elgato too, and it looked like shit for the long dark. It was
really?
Just dark. Can't see that much of anything. Because it is a pretty bright game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be dark when you're in a house at night and stuff, but.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but we're trying to Twitch a little bit more. Twitched a little bit of Mortal Kombat the other night.
Yeah.
I really wish that somebody else was into Mortal Kombat because, like, I don't even play it as much as I want to because it's just like I probably play an hour every, like, 3 nights. Like, I'll play once every 3 nights and I'll play, like, an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have a blast playing, but, like, I want to tell people stories, but nobody really plays. No one gives a fuck. The only person that played a lot was Pun. And as soon as I started whooping his ass, he quit. So.
Yeah, I wish I was better at it so we could, like, Twitch, me and you just having, like, good matches.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, it's I never thought I'd be back into a fighting game, so that's another thing that's exciting about it. But
such a good game.
Dude, I love it, man. I love going into fights because another thing is, like, Chad, a couple nights we were boozing, just was playing with me, so it took my record down, which is great because, like, there'll be games where I have, like, a 15% chance of winning, and those, like, I try to play other characters. My main two people I play, Kung Jin and Aaron Black, but I'll mix in Sub-Zero, I'll mix in Raiden, I'll mix in I played a little bit of Katana, but I didn't learn anything with her, so she's fucking hard with the fans. You have to really know what you're really doing to combo. But anyway, when I see that, though, every time I'm like, Kung Jin.
Yeah.
Like 100% of the time. And those fights are so fun, though. Like, I wish people... First of all, I wish I could Twitch. So my internet just sucks, and it won't... Like, the game's lagging enough already. When I used to Twitch Halo 5, it used to be like, shoot, and then, like, the bullet would come out like half a second later because the internet's just not good enough. But some of the matches are so fun, like, because you could tell these kids are nasty, and, like, to like figure out what they're. Me and this kid the other night, I beat him 6 times in a row, barely every single one, and he was like the nicest kid. He was on his microphone saying like, "Wow, that was awesome," and then he beat me 3 in a row, and then I beat him 2 to end the night. But they were just like epic. Like, we were learning each other's. That's what I love about Mortal Kombat. It's not all about like technical skill. Obviously, that's a big part of it, but it's like that strategy of like this guy likes to fake the attack, then grab, but then he stops doing that, and then he goes for the air attack, but you could take him out of the air. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's nothing more fun than like playing someone and kind of breaking down what they do. And I just wish somebody else played as much as I got into it.
Yeah,
you know,
that'd be nice.
Because Pun quit because he's a pussy.
Yeah, well, he's got Smite.
Yeah, and Wicked J too. You guys don't know who that is. It's irrelevant.
No.
But yeah, we also played some Rare Replay.
Yeah, I want to talk about Rare Replay.
Did we Twitch that?
We did a little.
I think we might have.
Did we? Yeah, we Twitched Battletoads and Conquer, the dumb multiplayer.
Yes.
That was just not fun to play.
That was really bad.
Okay. I have a couple problems with Rare Replay. I don't think it's as good as everybody says it is. A lot of those games are garbage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
they're $1 games, but
yeah,
like this thing's getting like 9 and 10 reviews.
I think the key for me in reviewing the game isn't if it includes shitty games, because it doesn't hurt you to include more games that are shitty. But do the good games warrant the $30? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's a bad. Like, I don't think you can like average the review of all the games, because I think some people want to play those shitty games because they're from their past. Mm-hmm. But do the good games? Do you want to play those enough to warrant $30? I think that's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know nothing against the Banjo-Kazooie series. I might try Nuts and Bolts because I heard the game's really cool. I'm not really like an inventive kind of guy that build things, so it's not really my game. But like the majority of those games that I've played aren't good, and I'm looking forward to trying the Viva Pinata series for the first time. But I went back. I still like the original Perfect Dark. Still one of my favorite like first-person shooters for back in the day. I was one of those people that thought it was better than GoldenEye. Like I love the GoldenEye multiplayer better, but I just like the shooting and the blood and stuff. And
I think GoldenEye multiplayer was better. I think Perfect Dark single player was better. But yeah, I think the key to that series is if you want to go back and play those single player games, then it's worth it. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna play multiplayer, like the only game that we had any fun playing multiplayer was RC Pro Am. Battletoads was okay.
Yeah, but the Battletoads arcade game's not bad.
Yeah, well, only because they gave you infinite lives though. Yeah. Otherwise, it would have sucked balls.
We were playing.
Could you imagine how hard that would have been?
Yeah, we were playing RC Pro Am 2.
That was really fun.
It is fun, but it doesn't like zoom out. So if Andy's in first, I'm in fourth. It automatically just brings my car up to second to stay near.
Yeah, that
Andy.
is lame. But overall though, like that was worth it. Like that was a mix of nostalgia and it was still fun. And whereas like that's not like Conker's multiplayer was fucking terrible. Controls, the game type, the graphics. And Conker's one of my favorite games of all time.
I wish you guys would have been the shooters. The controls, to try to hit you guys was impossible.
It's terrible. So yeah, I will never touch that multiplayer again. There is a better game mode than that, but
I want to go play Conker, but after playing that, I'm worried about the controls because they didn't use the Xbox One version, or not the original Xbox version. They used the original 64 version.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played the Xbox version.
The Live and Reloaded.
Yeah, I think I bought the N64 one. That was the only game that my mom ever gave me shit about buying. Ever.
I don't know if my mom ever even knew about it.
It was one of the first games that wildly advertised that it was rated R. Like the cover was ridiculous, and I think they did that because it looked cartoony. It wasn't like Mortal Kombat where there's like blood on the cover. It looked cartoony, and I think they made a big stink about making it obvious that it was, whatever they call that, rated M for mature. I don't think it was anything more than that, but I think that like there was like a huge, like an extra warning on the front. I remember my mom, she didn't really care. Like she knew that I played Bloody. She was embarrassed to get it for me because with her. Yep. That it's like I'm buying this mature game for my son, but I think I threw a fit and I think I got it. So
yeah, I remember one time my dad
suck it, Mom.
My dad drove me to Walmart to buy like Turok 2, and I went in there tried to buy it, and they wouldn't let me buy it. So I had to. My dad was waiting in the car. I had to walk all the way out to my car, and my dad had to go buy it for me. So my dad didn't care.
Yeah, fucker.
But
just fly in the room.
It's funny. Like back in the day, I used to work at like a electronics store. And they told me that rule, like you can't sell the video games to minors, isn't like a law. It's just like what all the companies agree to do.
Well, it's interesting because they talk about that in console wars. One of the big things that they went up against was Sega was the more mature console on purpose. They advertised it as such to make Nintendo look like a kiddie console. And the government started getting like I think it was the original Mortal Kombat that was the first game to be like, what the hell is this? And they were having like all these government agencies were like going to get involved and regulate it, but Tom Kalinske, the head of Sega, basically he had already put together one just for Sega, and it was totally just to save face. But then they all got together and made what do they call it, MSRB or whatever they call it now.
The ESRB?
ESRB, yeah. And then the government said, basically cool, like you guys take care of it. So that's why, I don't think it is a law. I think it's just the video game makers decided on a system, and that's
when I used to work at like FYE, like there'd be like a 14-year-old kid that came in to buy Call of Duty, and it was like a mature rated game, or no, Call of Duty wasn't, but there was like a mature rated game. I was like, I don't care, I'll sell it to you. Yeah, it's like what are they gonna do? Sue me?
Right? Yeah. Right. If it's not a law, it's not a law.
Yeah, it's not a law. It's just the ESRB rating.
Yeah, I didn't know if they had since turned it into any sort of law.
And I could be wrong. Somebody could have told me the wrong thing, but
right, because I know in the book it was like they regulated it themselves, which means it's not a law.
But like when
I feel like it would have changed by now. But the fact that somebody told you that makes me think.
And when you used to scan it in the system, it didn't say
it didn't like warn you.
It didn't say is this person over 18. It just ran through.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Rare Replay, it's 30 games for $30. There is some fun in it, but I don't know if I was expecting more.
Yeah,
I still haven't played all of it.
At the end of the day, if you care about playing Banjo-Kazooie, or Nuts and Bolts, or Conquer, or any of these games like through single player, then it's probably worth it to you. You know, because even one of those games is 30 hours of gameplay. But I think you have to be a fan of some of the games to get the proper nostalgia and proper value out of it.
Yeah. And I still don't understand how the 360 games worked on the game or on the consoles that aren't the preview mode ones.
Well, I think they just use the preview. They use the preview code. They just don't give you access to all the games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's over. All right.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about that somewhere. But it's basically just launching that behind the scenes. Yeah, I wonder if it like installs that, or if it even needs to install that when you install the game. I don't know. I'm not sure how the exact things work, but yeah, I got nothing else to say about Rare Replay.
No, I'm excited to try the Viva Pinata games because I want to try to like breed like crazy animals.
Yeah, those are supposed to be tremendous games. Yeah, that's another game where like a lot of people, and the great part about those games is they're modern enough where like they're going to be like you don't need nostalgia to play them. They're just going to be totally playable. Well, they're 360 games, right?
Both Perfect Darks look fine because they used the remade
right
Perfect Dark that came out on Xbox 360 from the original, and the controls are fine.
A lot of people were upset that they used the 360 version.
Oh no, it's so nice, like twin stick.
Yeah.
Why the fuck wouldn't you want? You want the C stuff, the make believe C stick. Fuck,
yeah.
Fuck that. Or the C buttons.
I don't know why, but I remember reading that people were upset about it. I don't know if they changed the game.
Like they left the auto aim thing. Like all you got to do when your gun's just like it looks like a fishing pole that's caught something.
Right.
You could be like looking at the wall and your gun just bends and you can hit everybody in the chest.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. That reminded me of playing the first Mission Impossible game. You remember that?
I don't think I've ever played one like 10 minutes.
I think it was Nintendo 64.
It was.
It was really cool. It was. I mean, at the time, it would probably blow now, but it was like really cool. Like
that sounds like a game Chad had.
Yeah, I think he did. But it was like a game where you like spy around and you have to like, you know, it's very similar to Perfect Dark. You have to like attach a bomb to something and
Chad's grandmother used to buy him every single N64 game that he wanted.
Does Chad still have N64 games?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I feel like that would have come up at some point, but we don't have, well, I actually do have an N64. I don't know if it still works.
I have one too.
It's upstairs in my attic.
I have Conquers.
Yeah, I think I gave all my games away, but I have the console still. Maybe a controller. I don't know. I don't know.
I like to occasionally whoop everybody's ass in Mario Party.
Worst game ever.
It is, but somehow I always win.
I've only played that once, and you didn't win.
Well, but the other times that we played,
I think Jay won. Yeah, I don't know how many. It's so funny. I'm trying to think of where I was when you guys were playing that. Was that when I was in New York?
I don't know.
Because I think I've literally.
No, it was when Pun was living here, so you were back.
Because I literally only played that game one time. It was one night.
Me, Pun, and Joel, and somebody else used to play.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I played it one night, and I was like, "This game is terrible."
I used to get so lucky at the end and just win.
I think when I was there,
I'd be like in last place.
It wasn't me or you or Pun. It was whoever the fourth person was. It was Jay or Joel or Chad. I don't remember.
I think it was probably me because I always in fourth place and somehow I win.
No, you didn't win. Because I remember thinking why the game was bullshit. Because I was in like second place, and then you got to power up and use it on me instead of the first place guy, which just puts you further in fourth place. And the first place person won, and I was like, oh, "This is retarded." I can't remember who it was though. Damn it,
they're terrible games.
Oh my god, I will never ever play one of those games again.
Nope.
It's not even like I'm fine with like a luck based game, but it's not even fun. It's just stupid. The mini games suck. It's just terrible. There's too much to it. I think like to have any level of quality. You know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shitty games, I'm on vacation right now, so I'm kind of like working my way back through all the games I haven't finished, like all the half finished games I have. Last night, right before I went to bed, I was like, I feel like shooting shit, so I'm going to fire up Battlefield 4 and finish the single player. And remember how it used to delete everybody's saves?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't start Battlefield 4 until like the single player until like 6 months or so after the game came out. And I was probably like halfway through. fired up last night, my save was gone.
Yeah, that happened to Chad too. Chad tried to play it. Chad tried to play it a month ago, and it deleted.
I probably have the achievements for halfway through the game.
Yeah, that's amazing that the game still doesn't work.
So yeah,
that's one of the worst launches of all time.
And the thing is, like, the single player is fine, but it's not good enough for me to want to go back and play it.
No.
So I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, that's I don't know that there's ever been a game that was broken both single and multiplayer
it's
like
pretty
that
impressive
ever before. I mean,
kind of makes me want to play it again, see if it'll delete it magically again.
There's been a lot of launches lately that have had shitty multiplayer launches, but I can't remember a game where you couldn't beat single player either. Like, they should have given full refunds for that game.
Yeah. I remember I was considering, like, I think I asked you, like, do I go to Microsoft or EA? Because it was a digital download.
I wish you had done that just for the podcast purposes.
Just to see how it worked.
I have a feeling they would have. I don't know. I could see it going either way.
Yeah. And talk about another shitty game. Tried Assassin's Creed Unity. Played about 2 hours of that.
Unity!
And I was done. That game is so bad.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
I never really got into the Assassin's Creed. I liked 2, but not enough to ever play
2 is one of my all-time favorite games. 2 is so good.
I actually want to try Black Flag because I just like the idea of being on a ship. I think that's really cool. And it's like half the game or something. So,
but I could not get into this. Like,
which one is Unity?
It's the one in Paris.
Is it before or after Black Flag?
It's after.
Okay, yeah. So that was like the first one that went shitty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people didn't really care for 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. Black Flag got really good reviews.
Yeah.
2 and Black Flag sound like the best ones. I don't know because I've only played. I played a little bit of 1.
It's just not good. Like the wall, like grabbing and stuff. You can't control it. The controls in Assassin's Creed have always been so bad, and this one, I think this might be the worst I've ever used.
Yeah,
it's awful. Like there's one point I was trying to get away. I was supposed to like steal these things, and the guys have guns, and like they show like reticles on you. And you gotta like try to dodge it, and I could not get off this fucking ledge. Like I couldn't drop, I couldn't move right or left. Mm-hmm. And I just see all these red dots lying on my back, and I just kept dying. It was retarded.
Yeah, no, I have no interest in ever playing that game.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I say bad like Black Flag. I say I want to play it, but I'm not going to.
TD Sprouts gave us those codes, and I used it because I wanted to try it. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, I purposely said I don't want either of those codes.
Yeah, I forget who we gave the Black Flag one to.
I don't remember either, but there's somebody that listens. But yeah. But
I got some good games we can talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I finally finished Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider might be one of like the best games I've played in a really long time.
Yeah. Well, you said The Witcher 3 was your favorite game ever.
Oh yeah, so yeah. But I mean, just like
we don't want you to jump the gun on this.
No, but this game is so good. Like the story's fine.
So you're very excited for the new Tomb Raider.
Yes, I'm absolutely excited for the next one because the best thing about like Uncharted is the story. The climbing and shit is cool. I think the climbing, like the jumping around shit, and the gunfight in Tomb Raider is so much better than everything in Uncharted.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of Uncharted, which is probably everybody's favorite part of Uncharted outside of the story, is like the set pieces were awesome. Yeah. Like when you jump off that train and that stuff was very cool.
The airplane one in the third.
The airplane one,
is nuts.
It's those were very cool, but yeah, like the stuff in between is still really good, but it's not quite as good.
Like I don't know if it's just like a better world, like it's a smaller, tighter world that Tomb Raider did to make it like better, and like I don't know, it just really clicked with me, like cause I like it because there wasn't so much like gunplay all the time, like it wasn't like in
ass play.
Yeah, well in Uncharted, like you can see an area and you're like, okay, I know there's gonna be guys here that I'm gonna fight like 30 guys, and I'm gonna move on. In Tomb Raider, it kind of mixed it up a little better, so you never really knew what was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks really cool. I think the graphics are really sweet.
I can't believe that game was like $9 a couple months ago.
Yeah. The digital age is great. There's a lot of big sales, and I don't know that it sold amazingly to begin with, so they probably had a surprise. I think it did fine, but I don't think it did like AAA title good.
Yeah, but it's like one of my most looking forward to games of this year.
Yeah.
Like
when's that come out? December?
November. Yeah, it's really good. If you haven't played it, play it. It's really cool.
Yeah, that game does look money.
And I also finished Metro 2033, which is cool. First-person shooter.
I barely know what that is.
It's like
I mean, I can picture that it's a first-person shooter, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a video game based off a book. Like I guess it was Metro was a popular book. It's like about like Russian like underground people. Like there's like monsters and shit. It's cool. Nothing really more to say about that.
Is that pretty much the games you've played?
Well, I trying to finish Halo 2.
Nice.
I'm playing it on like the hard difficulty, and I'm at the flood section with the arterer, and that part sucks.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, you're also playing on hard, which is tough.
You're back in the library again. It just sucks. I hate the library in the first Halo. I hate the library in the second Halo.
I don't even remember. I haven't played that game since it came out.
It's just nonstop flood.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the flood. But again, I can't really remember. I think Halo 2 was the last one. I never really even played Halo 3 single player. I actually really enjoyed Halo 4 single player. Have you played that yet?
No, I'm looking forward. I'm going to try to get through all of them. But.
The only problem I had with Halo 4 single player was that it's a little bit corridor based like the other ones, but the fighting is really cool.
Yeah,
the weapons are cool.
I still have ODST. I've never played ODST either.
Yeah, I don't know that I think me and Nick might have played that a couple times single player. Or was that Reach? I don't remember.
So I'm looking forward to getting through it, but I have not.
Yeah, ODST is cool because it's the first one where you're not the Master Chief.
I think I got to be close to being done with Halo 2. I hope, because like I remember liking it a lot the first time. Not so much liking it this time.
Yeah. I mean, hard. Any game you play that's 10 years old is probably not going to hold up very well.
Yeah,
even though they did remake it.
The gameplay is cool. The level design is kind of iffy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the same thing. Like I guess I understand it. That's a lot of first-person shooters are tough, but Metro 2033. It's one nice thing about it. It's cool. It's a cool first-person shooter.
Yeah,
well, it's got a cool story.
The modern first-person shooters have done a really good job about getting away from that corridor. Like, I mean, Doom invented that. It's just hallway after hallway after hallway. Where like even Call of Duty was huge set pieces, and But again, there's a reason that Call of Duty's 8 hours of single player and Halo's 30. It's because it's really hard to make every level really distinct.
I like the shorter first-person shooter games.
Yeah,
I think that's the way to go. That Advanced Warfare single player is so good.
Yeah, I will never. Speaking of that, like. Because like Halo 1 did the same thing with a lot of corridors and stuff, but I will never forget the first outdoor level in Halo 1. It was I don't know that I've ever been blown away like that since games went 3D.
Halo 3 has a good one too, right?
I don't remember. But I just remember the first time you're in the Warthog. It's like the cliffs, everything. It was so badass, and the music and. It was that was when I was like, holy shit, this game is legit.
Think about like on the little island thing where the ocean's all around you.
Ocean's all around you. No, like you could see the halo in the sky. Yeah. It's very much like one of the multiplayer levels, one of the more obscure ones, but it was badass. You end up going inside eventually, but you're outside to begin with. That just reminded me. I want so badly to do that demo with the augmented reality with the Halo waypoints. Yeah,
sounds awesome.
Sounds so cool. On drugs, preferably.
Last thing I played, we can talk about in Mexes and other things real quick. We finished up I watched the Internationals this week. Mm-hmm. A lot of it. I think I watched just about if there were 3 matches on a night, I watched at least 2 of them. And I'm happy to say my favorite team won the International. Yeah. Congratulations to EG. Go America.
Yeah, I think only one of them's American, but...
No, 4 of them.
Really?
One dude's Canada. Or Canadian.
I thought there was like several non-Americans on that.
They're all from America.
Interesting. I feel like I need to Google that now.
Kotaku had a weird thing.
Because I saw somebody say that somewhere on like a comment section where they said that like
when they showed their name and where they live, they're all American. But the one kid in Somal, he's like 15. The Kotaku labeled him as a Pakistani. Like, it's his heritage, but he's an American.
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it one of those things where his parents moved with him from Pakistan, so you could go with either one?
He might not be a natural born citizen, but he lives in the United States.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
he was born in the United
States. He also might have asked to be stated as Pakistani. Yeah. Who knows?
But they kicked. That was one of the best finals I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really good. I watched one whole match, and then I watched the highlights of the other 2 matches.
So all the games I watched, like the performance and the level that they're like all the teams are playing Dota at is incredible this year.
Yeah, I mean the what's crazy about those games is like when you play online, normally the way that you win is you get one of your carries to snowball to the point where they're like getting 20 something kills, and like in that tournament, there's only like a handful of games where someone will go like. Even have more than 10 kills. Yeah. It was just very or like 10-0, or it was very like everything was team oriented, and some of the biggest plays were just a support saving someone, or grabbing someone or something like that. Where it didn't come down to a Fed, which if you don't play Dota, which basically just means like somebody who's leveled so much that they can just dominate people. It didn't really, none of those games really came to that. Very few, at least. It was just really intricate
like smart,
team play,
big plays, and just doing all the right things.
I have a feeling too that like the meta of that game has changed, which well, obviously it has because we haven't played in so long. But what I mean by that is there were so many fights that looked like they were going to go bad that people turned around, and I feel like twice as many as last year. And I wonder if they like put a focus on that, so it's like just just the level of like your characters and experience don't matter as much as like the strategy, because there's so many times where it was like these people are fucked, and then they would go like they would trade like 4 versus 1 where like, they won the fight.
It seemed like there was a lot less like nuking of players. Like like the carries obviously can kill supports really quickly, but either like
they try to extend the fight.
Either the supports were so good at like avoiding that, or they were able to like disable enough stuff for the carries to stay alive.
People definitely seem tankier for sure. Which again, I don't know. Could be the equipment, could be the gameplay. Who the hell knows?
But that was one good that EG was really good at. They were really good at taking out the carries when they need to in a fight, or taking out the supports. Like they knew everything they needed to do. Yeah, and they would do it. And
I mean,
they won.
All those people are so good at none of those teams go into a fight not knowing exactly who they're attacking, which is so important because there's so many times you play online where people attack the wrong person. It's just a disaster. But play the game professionally, so it is what it is.
Congratulations to Fear. Like he's one of the faces of Dota, the Dota community. I would say he was a part of that free to play documentary. He's been injured the last couple of years. He's older. He's like 26, 27. Injured. He had like carpal tunnel surgery.
And he's older, 26, 27.
Well, a lot of people, I don't know, like professional gamers age out.
Yeah, I believe they say you peak at 25. Yeah, something like that.
It's good to see him win. And that small kid that they have, he is going to be good for the next 10 years. He is he's the best mid player in the world. Yeah,
he's ridiculous. He plays.
It doesn't matter who
he plays Ember and he plays Storm Spirit, the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. His Storm Spirit is ridiculous.
Well, actually, the Chinese kid that plays Ember was pretty ridiculous too. But his Storm Spirit's his best hero.
The fact that he'll burn all of his mana to shoot all the way across, like he'll die, buy back, use all of his mana, right back in the fight is nuts. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, the coolest part about the International to me was just the level of professionalism that they showed. Like, we bitched so much about EVO and how embarrassing the coverage was at times, because it was. To be fair, EVO's budget is way lower. So, like, I think that they do a pretty good job with what they're dealing with. But, I mean, the production of Dota 2, the International, is like watching a Monday Night Football game. I mean, first of all, the announcers are unbelievable. That job is so hard. Like, EVO, you have 2 characters. You need to know the game. It's not, like, I'm not going to say their job's easy, but I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. 5-on-5 with 17,000 items and abilities. They know every ability. The only thing that I said to you that I wish they would do is use the character name instead of the actual person's name, because you pick a different character every match. So, like, they'll say Samal, I don't know who he is. Like, if you're not watching religiously, you don't know who that is. They should say the Storm Spirit.
But that makes me wonder if they're just trying to, like, humanize the game.
And I get that, but at the same time, like, if you're watching that and you don't really watch Dota, it's bad enough for them to use the character names because you don't know them. But if they're using the person's names, you just have no idea because they don't have them selected because there's 10 people. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an impossible job, but they do an unbelievable job. Like, the main guy who does, like, the major matches is all over everything. And he's, like, the perfect amount of excited that's not phony. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, the evil guy yelling internet, I still want to beat his ass.
He's really good at his job.
He's unbelievable. Like, he's really, like, he could be, like, a sports announcer. He's that good. And then it's not just that, though. It's
their halftime people are good, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That English or Australian dude or whatever he is. He's like this older dude. He's got to be like in his 40s.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know if he's pretending to know his Dota.
No,
or if he just knows his Dota, but he's really good.
I mean, then you've got, and they need some age on there too, I think, because it's not just about knowing the game, it's about being able to express it in, ways that other people can understand, which I think is why they have him on there. But, like, did you see I think it was The Verge, or was it Polygon, or Ars Technica, one of those 3 websites did, like, we went to the Dota International and hung out, whatever. The pictures, which they should have done a better job of this on the International, they showed pictures of, like, this inside the arena, It's unbelievable. It's like 4 screens that are like half the size of the Cowboy screen all around, and everything looks so badass.
We should try to go to the grand finals next year.
Where is it?
Seattle.
Oh, Jesus. I'm not flying to Seattle to go to the donut.
That'll be fun.
No. I'll go to Seattle, but not for that.
Drop me off at Key Arena.
Yeah.
But you can drink and stuff inside.
Listen, I'd love to go, but I'm not planning a $2,000 trip to Seattle to go to the Donut International.
Hit all the microbreweries and shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you can make it like a long weekend, then it might be worth it. But
my only complaint about the ending thing was with like EG is like they never mentioned, the team they played against. Never said like good job.
Yeah.
CDAC. No, I don't know, and I don't know if that's just like they didn't play sports when they were growing up. They don't like understand sportsmanship.
No, I don't think that's it. I think that's basic human interaction.
Usually,
your parents tell you to respect your.
But if you watch like the NFL and like team who wins Super Bowl, they'll be like, great job.
I saw plenty of Dota players say the other team was great. Even the losers would say the other team was great. So I didn't watch the post game interviews.
But probably the best player on their team, Samal. Shortly after he tweeted out, "That was easy." On his Twitter. How do you feel about that?
What a fucking tool. I will be rooting against them next year. That's how I feel about that.
That's tough.
Period.
Somebody needs to tell him not to do that. It's just disrespectful.
I want to beat the shit out of that little 15-year-old now.
People were giving him shit. But no.
Yeah, I will be rooting against them next year because you just told me that. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, like that's why like we watched Evo and.
But he's so good. It's like just don't do that.
Yeah, it's just a douchey thing to do.
It really is.
And Evo, like the Smash Brothers players, were so just douchey like that. Yeah. But I think Sonic Fox, even though he can be like, he'll do like some taunting in the game, but he always shakes the guy's hand and gives him a hug after the game. You know what I mean? So it's just like I've said this before. It's so easy to be a good winner. Like it's bad enough. Like if you can't be a good loser, it just makes you look like a tool. But if you can't be a good winner, you're an idiot. You won. There's nothing to gain anymore.
The problem is like he's part of the most popular Dota team in the world, and he's gonna have followers and people look up to him. And you do something like that, it's like that's gonna breed a whole another level of winners that just call out people that they beat.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
instead of being like, hey,
the Dota community is toxic enough as it is.
I mean, like fear and
the most toxic community I've ever played a game on, ever. Call of Duty, Halo, they don't touch Dota.
Yeah, fear and PPD, they were pretty humble about it, and they didn't say anything stupid, but just don't do that.
Yeah, that's a douche move.
I mean, he's 15.
He's 15. It is what it is. Yeah, but you would think that there would be like elder people in his group, whether it's his parents or brothers or sisters, whatever, like that would say like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be a little asshole.
I bet you that they probably don't even check his Twitter, or nobody's probably telling him to like not do that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
But he's a millionaire now. 15 years old.
I know, isn't that crazy? Can he even take that money?
I'm sure. I don't know. I'm sure the government's gonna be watching it.
No, I'm saying like, can he even get that till he's 18, or is there some sort of rule about that?
I don't know how that works. And the thing was with EG.
I mean, he obviously has the money. It's just whether he can actually use it.
Yeah, EG is more than Dota. They have like, they were at Evo with people.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that money they actually will get if it goes to EG, and then it's like they have to pay like a tax or.
Well, I'm sure that they get 90% of it because they are the entire EG.
Yeah.
Their Evo players ain't making them any money.
Can you imagine if you were like the owner?
Because they could just literally just start their own team, and people would like they could pay their flight and stuff just by like getting Red Bull to sponsor them. Yeah. They don't need like. I'm sure it's nice to have a group that handles all that shit for you, but you know what I'm saying. They have leverage where they don't need to give up a ton of the money.
But that was international. It was really good. Really good this year.
Yeah, it was really good.
I think last year was awesome, and I think this one was
the changes they made to the game. Because I honestly, and I really enjoyed watching last year because it was the first international that I really watched like at all. I think we watched like a little bit of the one previous, but I thought the last one was kind of shitty because it was like the
so
same.
Much Faceless Void.
Yeah, it was the same heroes every goddamn game.
This one had a lot of the same heroes.
It did, and you're always going to see that, but I think that the pool of heroes that they used was double.
Yeah, and I think
you're never going to see them pick all 100 heroes.
I think the strategies changed a lot more. Like last year's Dota was a lot of like group them up and get a faceless void in there.
Right.
This year was more of like ganking and picking off like just spending more time in your own jungles, getting the XP, like racing to that 30-minute mark to be better than them at 30 minutes, and then make a push. There's a lot of split pushing that I didn't see last year. It was just cool to see the strategies really mix up this year.
Adam, stop kicking shit, goddammit.
I didn't kick anything. That's just wires fell.
You just kicked that. I'm not saying
Dwyer's over here.
I'm not saying it affected it.
Did not affect it.
But I'm just saying if we rewind, I bet you can hear it.
Maybe.
Shazam!
But
yeah, it was really cool.
Go with that. I played a couple of Dota matches Saturday night.
Yeah, I still haven't installed it. I'd like to, but
it was fun.
I almost don't want to install it so that I don't play.
My clicks and movement were really bad.
My biggest problem is that I'm just terrified of playing a game that to play 2 matches is going to cost me 2 hours.
Yeah, it did. Oh, it was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but even if both games are 45 minutes, it's still 2 hours of my time because I need to log on, I need to find a game. You know what I mean? It's 2 hours no matter what, pretty much. Unless you get 2 really, you can have 30-minute games. They supposedly sped up the game along like 6 months ago, but I don't know if they've changed that since the international because a lot of those games went. Well, actually, now that I think about it, they varied wildly. There was like a ton of 20-minute games, and then there was like a good amount of like 58 hour
game 3 of
games.
the grand finals is like an hour and 20, an hour and a half long.
Well, there's a reason for that. It's because they're not going to quit the last. Yeah. That's like they should have quit, dude. It wasn't it like 27 to something. I mean,
no, that one was really that one.
Oh, that was the first one.
EG was kind of losing that one, and they came back and like that was the best match of the game.
But I just remember
the whole week.
I don't remember which one it was, but I remember in the finals, all of those games went longer than they would have in the other round because you weren't going to quit when there's $17 million, $18 million up. Because normally in those other games, like if you lost one bad fight in the 27-minute mark, 25-minute mark, you would just, GG. Even because these guys know, like, we're fucked. They're going to come, they're going to take down 2 of our barracks, and it's over.
Well, the second place team did get $3.3 million.
Yeah, what did the first place team get?
6.
Like 6 point something? Yeah.
Pretty nice for a week of Dota.
Yeah. I got to tell you, if I was playing either of those teams, I wouldn't quit till they killed my ancient.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Just maybe somebody dies on the other team. You know what I mean? I'm not quitting until they kill my ancient.
There's one team that did that. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying though? Like,
did you
why
see
not?
The All-Star game?
No.
It was 10 on 10.
Oh yeah, that's like the new game mode.
Yeah, it was like there was like 200 kills or something, or 220 kills.
That's funny.
Mixed in the whole thing.
Last year they did the mid thing, the 1-on-1 mid tournament, which I found boring as fuck.
I was like, Samal would destroy that.
Probably.
He's so crazy good at that. But
yeah, he is. But everybody out there's probably like, we don't play Dota, we don't care, so we're sorry.
But go America.
Yeah. Well, unless they were all from Pakistan, which we're not sure.
No, they're all of them but one. Canadian.
Canada counts. That's the 51st state. By the way, remember when I was showing you the Sonic Fox versus Honeybee, which is the best Mortal Kombat player versus the best Devora player, top 5 player? I used to kind of root for Honeybee because I liked that he used one hero or character, whatever you want to call it. He is the biggest tool in the world.
Yeah, he's kind of douche.
He is the epitome of taking your entire personality from the internet. All he did the entire game, which he got his ass kicked by Sonic Fox playing Predator, he said, ended every sentence with though. In other words, that X-ray though.
Yeah, it was kind
that
of
block though. I wanted to punch him, dude. And then what was the other thing that he said?
The first 2 seconds.
What was the other thing that he kept saying?
Shit.
It's another one of those internet things. I can't fucking stand it.
He kept on blaming like the lag and shit.
Oh yeah, well he said like it's broken. But it was the lingo. I didn't care that he was bitching about the game, like Sonic Fox, whatever. But like the way that he just used. Fuck, there was another thing that he uses. Irrelevant. The point is, it's okay if you say it every once in a while. I don't really like it, but when you make it your entire fucking persona, it was just painful. And it was great because he goes, Sonic Fox, how many viewers you have right now? And he was like, like 2,400. Honeybee had like 100, which is just embarrassing. It's not a surprise he had way more, but that's like way more. Because I mean, he's a top 5 Mortal Kombat player, you know. That X-ray dough. Oh, another one was Get Wrecked. I mean, Jesus Christ! It's like literally, you don't have a personality. No wonder you're so good at Mortal Kombat. You don't interact with anyone that doesn't live on the internet.
That's that stupid REKT wrecked.
Oh yeah. It's just like he's like a bot on a forum that it's like auto responses to people.
We're just old man gamers.
We are, dude. It makes me like it's so bad to me that it was hard for me to just tell that story. Like it made me die a little bit inside to say those things out loud. That is not a joke. Like I almost thought about not telling that story because it freaks me out that much. Anyway, though, like Sonic Fox is he's kind of a nerd, but like he's actually pretty funny. That kid was just, oh God, imagine like sitting down with him for dinner and just having to talk about things. Good God.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit of Gamescom. I don't have much to say about this because I think Microsoft was obviously the biggest story of that. They're the only one showing new games that were AAA titles, but they showed some more Battlefront. I don't know if you saw the Darth Vader video.
I did.
Holy shit, was that cool.
Is that the one in the hallway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That was badass. But they just showed some more stuff. They showed some more space battles.
Yeah, they put in flying fights that they said they weren't going to do.
Yeah, I mean, the graphics of that game look ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to like or play that game, but holy shit, do the graphics look
I definitely
good.
have to try it.
Yeah, the art style is just really cool. And again, Battlefield 4 was an awesome game if it wasn't broken, you know. So DICE is a great studio. It's just EA forcing games out. Is this another EA published game? It is, right? Yeah.
But at least we'll get to try it free 3 days early with EA Access.
Yeah.
So we'll get to make a decision there if we like it or not.
And I don't think that they'll ever release a game that broken again because that was really bad press for them.
It
Really.
It is EA and DICE.
Because I truly believe that I'm not saying they never will, but they can't do it this time because I really think that hurt. What's the other Battlefield game?
Oh, Hardline.
I really think that hurt Hardline sales.
Hardline just like dumb anyways.
It was, but I think there was a lot of people like us that went fuck that game
Yeah.
because it's called Battlefield, you know. And yeah, I didn't really care for the game.
People need to do a lot more of the fuck that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, we never bought 15, NHL 15.
Never.
That felt good. I mean, that was hard. That was the game that we played the most in the last, I don't know, since Halo or something, you know? I mean, we played that game all, like, 1,000 hours. For us not to buy that game hurt. And the worst part was we couldn't even play the old one because they didn't make it for the next-gen console, so they double fucked us, you know what I mean? NHL 14, I mean. Yeah, because we sold our 360s. Anyway... they also showed some Fallout 4, which still looks amazing. They're claiming 400 hours of gameplay content.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Spunky. Adam's dog. They say one of the cool things I thought was neat about it, we'll see how it works, is there's no level cap.
That's cool.
So you can just play forever. And like there's going to be some nerds that do some unbelievable things in that game. You know what I mean? Or like there's like 5 years from now, there's going to be like a level 1,000 or something.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting. I'm easily one of my most anticipated games this year, but I keep on forgetting it's coming out this year because I have been like avoiding everything because I don't want to know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't think they've really showed that much about it.
Yeah,
they just showed like small gameplay. Well, I don't know. I haven't watched that.
That comes out soon.
Pretty soon, yeah.
October?
I don't know.
Is it October?
Every game that's
November?
releasing, and every game that's releasing in October to December, I just lump them all in the same category.
Like,
I have no idea.
It starts soon. We have Metal Gear Solid 5 in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's nuts. And then it's all downhill.
I still haven't even played the whatever it's called.
Should I download it again? I might try it. I might play it again.
Yeah.
I decide which console I want to play it on. So.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little bit better on PS4, I think, graphics wise.
Probably.
Well, I'm just saying, I saw that.
Yeah.
That they said it was a little bit better. And then also, my boss really wanted me to mention this because he loves mobile games. His criteria for playing a game is, can he play it on the toilet or within 3 minutes of picking up a game, which I think is great criteria for a mobile game. He is afraid to get into the Fallout mobile game because he's afraid that he'll become obsessed with it. Because he's really into like Clash of Clans and like Bomb Beach.
Fallout has an end game.
The mobile game.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does.
It ends.
Interesting.
So
how does it end?
I think there's only goes a certain amount of days,
and
then it does nothing else after.
Interesting. Have you played it? Because it just came out on Android, right?
Oh, is it out on Android?
Either just came out or it comes out.
I keep forgetting I just downloaded my iPad.
Because I feel like you would love that game.
I'm not a big mobile gamer.
I know you're not, but I feel like you would love that game.
Yeah, I would.
Because it's right up your alley.
But,
and it like plays when you're not playing. So like you could send somebody out to search for weapons and then come back like the next day and see what happened, which is kind of cool.
And you get to make people fuck.
Yes, that is also true.
So there's that.
I don't think you get to make them. You get to try to.
You make fuck rooms and you put one person in. You put male and a female.
But I think they have to be. I think they have to have a. Is there like an attractive level? There's something like that. Otherwise, you just get friend zoned and.
Oh, it looks the same down there.
I hope you name a character Adam, and I hope you put him in a room with a girl and he never gets laid.
Yeah, probably. But the problem is like you can inbreed people, so you gotta like remember who's who and what. So I don't think
inbreeding even affects them though, does it?
It's got to affect you somehow.
No, I think they basically make you do that because there's only so many.
Breed?
I think because there's only so many people.
Yeah, I really have to download this game.
At some point, you're going to be mixing bloodlines.
Well, you can pull in like outsiders, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think you get enough of them. Is what I'm saying. I mean, think about it. You could only once you made them once, those kids grow up.
Well, second and third cousins can fuck, right?
Third definitely can. I don't know about second.
Oh, it's the end days,
Yeah. First cousin. Wait, what was that show? Oh, is it Mean Girls? Where she's like, "Isn't that your first cousin?" Yeah, but there's cousins, and then there's first cousins.
Mean Girls is a great movie.
It is. Yeah. So there's that. I had to get that in there. A couple other games. What time are we at right now?
50.
Okay. A couple other games. 56. Everybody's going to the Rapture. I think that looks really neat. And now I'd like to preface this by saying I will never play it.
Is that like the HBO show?
I don't know. Yeah, well, I think it's similar. You're talking about I know what you're talking about. Something like that. We're like, but I think everybody might be dead in this, as opposed to like some of them in that. But yeah, you're basically like exploring a world. It's kind of like Gone Home meets Fallout, kind of. It's like the end of the world where like you're exploring, and it's much more of like a story-based game than it is. It's one of those weird things where it's like people used to say, "Is it a game?" That used to be like a big controversy, which is like, of course, it's a fucking game.
Yeah, if it comes out on a game console, it's probably a game.
Yeah, right, exactly. If you're holding a controller, it's a game. But yeah, I think that actually looks really cool. The art
style
is really cool.
This is the game.
Yeah, well, that used to be the big controversy. Like, would Flower be a game? Well, yeah, it's a game. You don't have to like it, but it's still, even, I mean, Telltale is as close to a show as you could get, pretty much. But yeah, I think that looks really cool. You kind of go, find a story. I think it reminds me a lot of Gone Home, which I haven't played, but I watch a bunch of videos on it. It's like, you're basically seeing what happened in this house by exploring and, seeing pictures, reading stuff, seeing, I don't know, maybe you see flashbacks. But GameSpot gave it a 9, which is a very high score for them. So I just want to mention that. It's on my list. I won't buy it for full price, but if it drops.
Is it on PS4?
It's on PS4 for sure. I think it's PS4 or computer. I don't know if there's plans to bring it anywhere else.
Cool.
It's definitely PS4. I don't even know if it's computer. One thing that you just mentioned, which I didn't know, was that Tony Hawk 5 just got a redo on their art direction.
Yep. Perfect timing. Game comes out in 2 months. You got to change the art style.
Yeah. So I said this. Like, I understand to some extent why they did this, because the graphics before looked like PlayStation 2. But I remember when we talked about this originally, I said, I don't give a fuck what it looks like. If it's fun, I'm going to play it because I love Tony Hawk games. However, Tony Hawk HD is which is the game they released for 360. And it was basically like a combination of the first 3 games or something. It was one of the worst games I've ever played. It felt nothing like Tony Hawk. It was slow and laggy.
Well, you're in luck. The same studio made that's making this.
I know, but I'm hoping that you don't know if it's the studio or they might have just got like a shit budget on that game too. But the fact that they're changing the art style, and I actually like the new art style more, which is funny. I thought it was going to really suck. I like it in
motion, but the
screenshots look really shitty.
Just all look fucking terrible.
Yeah, the motion is pretty cool, but the fact that they changed the art direction 2 months before the game launches makes me think that this game's going to suck.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that they would do that.
It's really weird.
Makes me think that the game's going to suck, which sucks because I just want, just give me Tony Hawk 3 HD. They're afraid to do that now because they fucked up the HD one so badly.
It can't be that hard to do.
No. Seriously, if they just released an actual Tony Hawk HD, which was 1, 2, and 3, slightly updated graphics, it would be so easy because all they would have to do is
the buttons
up the resolution and the anti-aliasing and release it, but they can't now because they already did that and it was the biggest piece of shit ever. You know what I mean? They try to put online in it, which is great, but you gotta finish the actual core game before you do that. So anyway, Tony Hawk 5. I will still buy it if it gets good reviews, but I doubt it's going to.
Well, I forgot to tell you, I pre-ordered the Elite controller for Xbox
No,
One.
you did tell me.
Did I tell you? I meant on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I got that coming for me.
Yeah, I'll probably get that.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it looks really neat. The only game I could really see me ever using it is Halo.
Yeah, Halo's going to be awesome because I always have such a hell of a time with the reload and grenades. Melee.
Yeah, the main reason I would want it is because meleeing is nice.
Having melee on your ring and the middle finger.
But
so nice.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest advantage. I don't have any problem with anything else really in that game, but meleeing is hard. With the control scheme that I like to use, meleeing is hard.
Because I always miss my melees. I don't know if I'm not you got to move. You kind of got to guess where they're gonna be,
right?
And then melee.
Yeah. That controller definitely looks sweet. I'll probably get it. When's it release again? Like
October
November?
31st.
October. Okay.
You can just set a pre-order on and then cancel if you don't want to.
I doubt it's gonna sell out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be shocked. I mean, it's $150, right?
Yeah, came up to like 161.
I mean, unless they
tax on that bitch.
Unless they really short the order, I doubt it's gonna.
Hopefully, I get it. Hopefully, it's one of those day of release things.
What do you mean?
Like Amazon ships it a couple days before.
Oh,
like they did with the Xbox One and stuff.
I feel like it won't be because I feel like they just do that for video games, but it is related to video games, so I guess it's possible. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think normally like they only do that for things that are hyped for the day of, which is
always
like
nice
games.
when things show up a little early.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably just go to Walmart and buy it. Day of, but
Amazon's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And what is
Set it and forget.
Halo 5 comes out like
27th.
a week before that, right? Or a few days before that,
25th, 27th.
Yeah, I think it's the 27th. So yeah, that'll be cool. And I hope the D-pad is better. Who knows?
It looks so weird.
It does. Oh well, you could also have the old one. I just hope one of them's better. I'm fine with it for Mortal Kombat.
Hexagon
but
one's really weird.
It is. I just know that.
Is that what it's called? The Hex?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I kind of wish I bought Mortal Kombat for PlayStation 4 because nobody else plays it.
Yeah.
So it's clear the PlayStation 4 D-pad is clearly superior. But whatever, I'd have to deal with two consoles. It's fine. Speaking of games that are gonna sell a lot, GTA 5 has sold 54 million copies. That number is staggering to me.
That's nuts.
I mean, it's like the thing with GTAs are. And I love that they do this with a lot of games. Halo's one of them. Fallout's one of them. I mean, the extreme example will be like Half-Life, but that doesn't really count. Where they take their time. I mean, GTAs will release every 4 years, every 5 years. And that's like, I don't know what the budget was that they put into GTA 5, but I would love to know marketing plus the manpower plus all that stuff, what that budget was. But when you do that and you make a game that's that transformational, where it sells 54 million, and they did it so smartly, like release it on the old gen first. Yeah. Then release on next gen as soon as it seems fresh again, and computer after that. 54 million copies, dude. That number is unbelievable.
What do you think? $100 million to make that game?
I mean,
without marketing shit?
Yeah, I mean, $100 million budget for a game is massive, and it's $60 a copy. You're talking about let's do some mental math.
I was gonna do that. What's the math?
Go ahead.
60 times 54 million?
Yep.
Jesus.
Well, if it was $6, it would be $300 million. So I think it's 3-point-something billion dollars. Is that right?
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a lot of zeros there.
Yeah, there's
let me see.
320. Did I not add the right zeros?
I don't know if you did.
60 times. That's good radio.
Yep. Hold on.
54 million?
Hold your horses out there.
There you go. Oh, Jesus, 54.
All right, I don't trust you anymore.
That's what it came out to be.
Yeah,
so 3.2.
3.24 times 10 to the I believe that's $3.4 billion.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously.
That means
you're obviously taking some on retail and all that stuff.
That means there's no Red Dead coming. That means Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out before Red Dead Redemption 2.
I don't know. I feel like they always take a break from GTA before they. I mean, they also might have.
But if you're making $3.4 billion on your series,
but they always have. I mean, they could have been making GTA.
That's got to be the highest selling game of all time, right?
It has to be.
Maybe not numbers, but at least money wise.
I bet you it's both.
Jesus
I can't imagine
Christ.
There's some. I don't think it's the fastest selling, but it's got.
It was the fastest to $1 billion, I think.
Was it? Yeah, it's got to be the highest selling game ever.
And it did
there's no way.
It did $1 billion when it came out on 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
Jesus
yeah, I'm sure it sold less
Christ.
on the next gen consoles, but still enough to. But then you also had the
if
computer.
they made another $1 billion off the new generation of people rebuying their game, that's nuts.
Yeah. Did they give it away for free too?
No,
they didn't. Yeah.
It wasn't even at like a discount, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, that number's fucking crazy.
So if you want to pirate that game on PC, go for it, because they've gotten their money.
Yeah. Wasn't it like broken as shit when it shipped for PC too?
I don't
know. I think it
just took forever.
Maybe that was part of it too. I think it was a little bit of both, but yeah, it definitely took forever.
Have you seen that Iron Man mod on it?
Yes,
it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the mods are so funny for that game, and it's so funny because I've said this before on the podcast, but like the controls in that game still suck, but it doesn't matter because the game's so good that it's just there's so much love put into those games that it's 54 million. I mean, that's unbelievable.
It's fucking nuts.
There's 300 million people that live in the United States, and that's including the elderly and babies. Think about that.
So
that's pretty much sixth of the population.
It's pretty much every gamer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's worldwide, but it's unbelievable. Yeah. Anyway, we already talked about the international. We forgot to talk about this last week. Did you see the story about the Konami
I did.
work environment? I think the most interesting part of this story was that they would take people who messed up and like, so you could be like a game developer who was like ahead of some game. And if you like shipped a shitty game or you messed something up that was bugged, they would like put you on the janitorial staff.
Yeah, or the manufacturing line.
Fuck.
Or a security guard.
Konami. Fuck.
Can you imagine Kojima being like security guard?
Yeah, like that. I wonder if like they tried to like, not something like that, but I wonder if they tried to like punish him and he just said fuck you. You know.
I wonder how much Yakuza is in the Konami world.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they are into gambling and stuff.
Sure.
I would not. I mean, if your employer told you, like, I don't know if this is a Japanese like way of life thing, but if your boss said to you, "Hey Andy, sales suck this month. You're gonna clean toilets for the next month," you'd fucking quit.
Yeah, I mean it is weird because I know in Japan that like once you choose a company, you're kind of with them for life. Yeah. Like that's the culture that they have, but that can only last so long.
You're gonna
like,
take that shit,
right? That's the thing. It's like that can only last so long. Where it's like if they make you be a security guard when you were head of development, like you're just gonna go someplace else. Also, no wonder they're out of the video game business. You can do that kind of shit at a tire shop or at something that's like, but when you're trying to get someone's creative juices flowing and you have them in that much fear, that's not going to create a great game. You know what I mean? That's just going to make them suck worse at their job.
I think they have the Yakuza beat the shit out of their employees and make them do that stuff.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like that's not going to make great games.
No,
you can't make people aren't going to make great games out of fear. You have to have some sort of that's like telling an author to write the best book ever with a gun to their head. The book's gonna suck. There's just no chance. You have to have some sort of free flowing environment. So I'm glad that Kojima is leaving, and I'm glad that company's out of video games because that's the shittiest story I've heard in a while. Like you even hear bad stories about Nintendo, but it's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just a weird thing to do.
Yeah. And there was other parts to it too, but to me that was by far the most offensive part. I can't remember what the other parts were. I hope one day there's a tell-all book about what happened with Kojima because there's definitely a shitload of stuff behind the scenes.
Blake Harris, you listening?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I would get a Blake Harris Kojima book.
I believe he mentioned, I don't think anybody will talk yet. It's going to have to be like 10 years from now, I think. But he mentioned I think he's working on a book about VR.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't know that he's decided that's his next major project or it's just something he's dabbling in, but that could be definitely cool. He definitely wants to stay kind of in the same arena. And there's definitely console wars too. You could do the next couple generations of consoles, which also
how far does console wars go up to?
Basically the launch of the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64.
Okay, so no Dreamcast. So it doesn't have the fall of Sega.
No, it does. That was the fall of Sega. Dreamcast, they came back from the ashes, but but think about it. They released the Saturn, and it was a nightmare disaster, and then they didn't launch the Dreamcast till 10 years later or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I was a Nintendo boy.
Yeah, and again, the Dreamcast was one of the greatest consoles ever. What they did, considering that they didn't have the support other people had, it's just.
They had a great lineup of first-party games.
That was unbelievable. I think it just came down to the fact that it was poor timing in a way, even though they tried to get it out first, which was smart, but at the same time, it didn't match up to the power of the other two consoles. You only had to wait a year or two for them. I can't remember which. And I think that Sega's name was just so hurt, And it sucks because, some of my favorite gaming, NFL 2K games.
They're really good.
Unbelievable on that system.
Play online.
So was the NBA ones. I wasn't into those, but yeah, the first games that I really played online a lot. Oh, what a great console that was. Controllers were awesome for the time. Oh, memories.
Little VMU action.
Oh, memories. I remember bringing that. It had one of those stupid what were those things called where you raised a pet, but it had nothing to do with Dreamcast.
Hitachis or something.
Something like that.
Hibachi.
Tagachi.
Something
like that.
I
don't know. But they had one of those, a rip off of that in the VMU, and I remember bringing that because you could take it out. I remember bringing that to see Gabe Gallucci in Ithaca, and I was just raising my pet the whole time. And I got to tell you, it was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
It was just they were so forward thinking. I forgot that Genesis tried to do a gaming on demand thing over the internet.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? I'm sure it wouldn't have worked, but it was funny because as soon as I read this book, I was listening to some random clip on Howard Stern, and it was Gary told Sega, this is obviously a long time ago, to install this on-demand thing into Howard Stern's house, but Howard Stern was pissed because he thought they were a sponsor. He never would have taken it otherwise, but it was just interesting because it was like right after I finished the book. I got to do some research. I'd love to see how that worked. That's so ahead of its time. It is. Because even though the games were simpler, but so was the internet.
12 years ago? 13 years ago?
It was 1992, probably, 3.
What, on demand? No, when the Dreamcast came out.
No, it was Genesis.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So it was a long time ago.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything else to say? Other than that definitely worked perfectly?
Yeah, what?
The Genesis on demand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would have been sweet.
I think it was Genesis and not Saturn. I'm pretty sure it was Genesis, which is unbelievable. But anyway, follow us, YouTube. Be prepared for the extra podcast this week, the interview with Blake Harris, Console Wars.
Follow him on Twitter too.
Yeah, he's Blake J. Harris, NYC on Twitter.
Tell him we sent you.
Yeah, absolutely. Buy the book.
Yeah, buy his book.
I mean, if you are a video game fan, you have to read that book. It's because number one,
Did you give me that?
I don't think I left it here. I had it here. Because number one, it's one of the only video game books out there, and it's so good. And it's so interesting. And if you're anywhere near our age, you remember a lot of this stuff. Even though, like I was 8 years old, I still remember the commercials and stuff. So definitely buy that book. Prepare for the movie and the documentary. Be on our YouTube channel. I'm going to post the video interview there. Obviously, YouTube/8-Bit Bourbon works. YouTube.com, excuse me. You can get us Twitter, 8-Bit Bourbon, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. We're everywhere.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitch.
Twitch, 8-Bit Bourbon. And Pornhub, no, that's a different thing.
I'm surprised the Pornhub Dota team didn't make it to the internationals. Sounds sad.
Will they sponsor us?
Maybe.
We'll have to ask. I'm at our podcast. I don't want to play that much Dota.
I sponsor them, so.
That's true. YouPorn, brought to you by 8-Bit Bourbon.
Yep.
And we'll end on that. I'm Andy.
I'm Adam.
And we're 8-Bit Bourbon.
Get wrecked.